Welcome to Canvas Cafe's second tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to draw a nose using multiple tonal layers to make it look as smooth and realistic as possible. So first of all, what I want you to do is start off using a nice light grip on your pencil. We're just going to draw a small circle about the size of a penny. From that circle, I'm going to draw a diagonal line up on the right and a diagonal line up on the left. Make sure that they're about the same length. All of this should be with a light grip. Then we're going to put a little curve on the end of one and a little curve on the end of the other. So it looks like a handlebar of an umbrella. Try and get them as equal as possible. After you've done that, we're then going to do two diagonal lines. One on the right, and using the same distance, so it's about 5mm, we're going to do one on the left. Try and get the angles about the same. From there, I'm going to put a little dot close to the end of that umbrella hook, right, and I'm just going to now do a nice little curve to join up that diagonal line. We'll do the same on the other side, just quite close to the umbrella hook, and do another little curve there, and you can start correcting if you find that the angle's a bit too steep or if there's any inaccuracies in your drawing. That's the start of the nose. Then, very, very lightly, so about a centimetre at the top of this circle, we're going to draw two vertical lines. Very light because these are getting rubbed out. They will be buried underneath the shading, so they need to be so light. And they probably want to be, if we look at the distance from the bottom of the nose to the top of these diagonal bits, they will probably want to be about 1.5 times the size of this circle. So we've got one here. I've done mine a little bit longer, but some noses are different sizes. Okay, from the top of here then, what I'm going to do is do two very light diagonal lines. These 4 lines that I've just drawn are going to be the main focal point of the shading, so it shows you where you can put your shading. Okay, hence they need to be really light. At the bottom here, you can curve that circle a little bit more to create the nostrils. You can bring these in slightly until we're perfectly happy with them. That's the main structure of the nose. Using a HB pencil, so I prefer to use mechanical pencils, but using a HB pencil now, what we're going to do is you're going to put a little bit of shade in here. Okay, nice and light, and you see where I'm holding the edge of the pencil? Okay, nice and light, put a little bit of shade in on either side of the nostrils, just in the middle, and follow the line of the outside of the nose. Don't go too dark at this point. We've got time to be braver later. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade in this sphere. Okay. Again, I'm gradually getting darker. I'm not going crazy. Okay. Keep your scribble shading. Alright, curved. Don't do it straight. Notice here I'm not shading right up to the line. I'm leaving a little bit of a gap, but that's deliberate. So you are shading that sphere. Then you're going to shade up each side. So you're going to go over those light lines and you're going to curve it around. So you're going to get rid of that sharp edge. start off darker in the middle and then feather your shading as you get towards the edge. Again, I'll show that again. Dark in the middle. By dark, I'm just going over and over and over again until I've got the right shade. I'm not pressing on any harder. And then take it up. Just like that there. And then I'm going to shade on the outside of the nose now. Now this can't be too dark, not at this point. So just do some loose shading. Try not to lose the line of the nostril. You still need to be able to see the lines of the nostril. That's so you just can't go too dark. And now I'm going to go up from that and just put a tiny bit of shading in here. Tiny bit of shading up here. You don't need to go too hard. It doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. We're going to smooth that out later. Inside the nostrils now. We can be a bit braver here, but it's always better to be braver later. Right, and we'll do some curving. So sometimes if I'm working on a portrait that I find is quite hard, I don't go dark too soon. I gradually build up confidence. Right, once I'm happy with what I've done, I can then start to go a bit darker. Okay, what we're then going to do is just go side to side here, a tiny bit of shading, just like that, a straight line, horizontal. Okay, and then I'm just going to do one of those little tornadoes here. It forms the top of the upper lip. Just like that. Using the blending stump now, I'm going to blend in, following the direction of that shading. And blend in all of this pencil. If I turn the blending stump around, I get a cleaner edge. As long as you've used HB pencil or a B pencil, then you should be alright. You shouldn't go too dark, and that will cause over blending. Using the dirty side of the stump, I'm just going to put a little bit of darker shading at the top. I'm not going to add any pencil in there. I'm just going to pick up some graphite from here and I'm just going to place it at the top of the nose. Okay. And then a little bit blending all around the edge. You could be a bit braver, you could press on a little bit harder just by squeezing the blending stump tighter. It's really important here that when you're shading the sphere of the nose, right, that you do it in a spherical motion. That's what makes the point of the nose stand out. And then we'll do the edges of the nostrils first. We'll bring that in. And don't worry if it goes too far. We'll use a rubber to take it out if we need to. Point of the blending stump just to add a bit of definition to the blending. Okay, and then I'm going to go around the edge and be quite careful here because I still want to be able to see where that line started off. And I've saved the nostrils until last on purpose because that's where my darker shading is. The blending stump would pick up more of the graphite. And then you end up with a dirty graphite stick, and it's okay, you can give it a sand and it's okay, it'll clean it up, but that takes time. You may as well just start with the lighter bits first. So do that line there and bring it down. So you can see I kind of lost that line a little bit, which I'm going to need to bring back with the blending stump. It's very tempting to go over these little light patches, but if you actually look at a nose There is an ever so slight light bit here and a light bit here, so just don't go over them bits. Using the pencil rubber, one of my favourite tools. As you know from the previous session, I'm now going to use this like a pencil. So first of all, I'm going to take out some of the lighter marks around the top of the nostrils. Blend those in, so I'm still using it like a pencil, tightening my grip where I want it to be quite heavy, as in lighter now, and then loosening my grip where I want it to not be so light. Sometimes the rubber shavings can get in the way, so you can use the brush to brush away the graphite. What's lovely about this technique is that if you do take out too much, you can darken it again. If you use a softer pencil like a 2B, you will struggle to take out quite a lot of the light. That's why I always start with a HB. Okay, just take out a little bit of this point here. So it's a bit of a solid circle now, so I'm just going to break that up. Lighten some side, a little bit of it, so it's not such a perfect sphere. Bring the light up on this side and add a little bit of definition onto the edge of the nose there. And I need to make sure that I now add definition into that horizontal line that I did to start off with. Definitely don't want the nostrils to look as dark as they are at the minute, so I need to go back and lighten them. Otherwise it looks like they're very deep nostrils. Point a little bit more as well. Work at the top. Again, we will blend on another layer, so if your rubbing out is a little bit scratchy, it's not a major problem at this point. Just going to soften down some of this blending that went a bit far, just so that it closes down that shadow behind the nostril. Do the same on the other side. One of my favourite things to do is to squint, and if I can see any kind of random patches of dark, I want to just break it up slightly. I'm looking at a reference image of a nose, so do make sure that you have a nose to hand. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is just go try and make some of my highlights a little bit lighter. Start adding in some darker areas. This is my second layer of shading, so I'm not going to go too crazy. I only want to darken some areas. Go too crazy with the 2B pencil, then all that will happen is you'll end up blending the shades so much that it darkens the entire nose. So this is why each layer, when you're using a softer pencil, each layer you should do less shading. Darken the nostrils. Starting to add a little bit of definition into this shape. So really the only lines that are in the nose are these parts of the nose here. So actually what I mean by line is an actual kind of solid line. It's the nostrils and these side bits as well. Everything else should be shading. Noses are quite scary because there's actually very little detail in them. That's why people tend to struggle with them quite a bit. Bit of shading around the edge then, like I said. These are your lines. When I talk about a solid line, you need to make part of the line a bit darker and part a bit lighter. Because no line on a face or in any drawing is a solid line. Here I'll make it a bit darker there, a bit thicker to show that the shadow is cast on there, and then this bit here I'll make it a little bit thinner, and I'll also feather the line out slightly so it's not quite a solid line. And then coming around this corner here I will lighten the line up quite a bit, and using perfectly artistic terminology, I feather the line out slightly, so I kind of shade over it a tiny bit. Make sure it doesn't actually look like a line. So do the same on this side. Just going to go back and try to make sure I'm happy with the nostrils. See here, that line is not a solid line because it's got a gap there. Make sure we have got some highlights in there. So just going to go back, giving it a good squint. Made sure I've not made bits too dark, but I do want to bring this shading down ever so slightly. Because I've lowered the nose, I just want to make sure that there's not much white at the tip. So just here and here. And I want to just darken these bits a titch. And bring that around, just again to add a bit of definition. Give it a good squint. Again, now we use a blending stump. So I've just twisted it around because the other side is a little bit dirty at the minute. And, if I get a chance, I'll show you what I use to clean the blending stump. People seem to make the mistake of thinking that they should sharpen a blending stump. Believe it or not. Even I've made that mistake. So the blending stump allows you to make your face look smooth. So pick up a little bit of the darker graphite here and just pull it up. I am still blending this in around the edge just to fluff it up a bit. And I will define it again with the 4B pencil, but then I won't really blend. See how it makes it lovely and smooth. Go back to the rubber tool just to make sure that we have definitely got all of the highlights. We don't want to make them too bright so that it looks like it's a very shiny nose, but we do need to take out some of these highlights, especially where sometimes it just overblends. With the best will in the world, sometimes that does happen. If you've got one of these fancy tools, them noses, if you can make them nice and flat, nice and smooth, then it doesn't matter too much about proportions because noses are all funny sizes. Don't get too hung up on it looking absolutely perfect to the reference material that you're using. Just practice the technique, practice the materials, practice blending, practice trying to get it as smooth as possible. Last but not least, 4B pencils again. I use mechanical pencils because I find them a little bit harder to manipulate, and you can get a point. And this time I'm not going to do very much blending at all, just adding a little bit of definition to the dark areas. I'm not going to really touch this part with the 4B pencil because otherwise it will sink it too far in the face, and we don't want that. But we definitely want to put a little bit of a 4B pencil or a darker grade, so whichever you prefer to work with. My preferred tools are HB, then 2B, then 4B, and if I need to go much darker than that, I might use a 6B. But often I quite find personally that if I need to go much darker than that, an actual black pencil crayon, a mechanical black pencil crayon, so that I can really add the definition in, alright, that works for me. And I'm just turning the pencil ever so slightly, tiny little millimetre less than that turn, so that I can get the point of the mechanical pencil right in there to just add a little bit of definition to that line. Especially lovely little bit here. That's the nostril sweet spot. Just there. And just adding a little bit of that 4B. Just into this nostril, just to sink that bit in and show where the shadows are. Okay, and now, just to finish off, I'm going to put in that little line. Horizontal line that just seemed to have lost a little bit. Just bring that down in that tornado style. Just like that there. Okay. And to finish off, I won't be using the blending stump, I use a colour shaper. And now use that to smooth down the nose properly. The colour shaper doesn't move the graphite around as much as the blending stump. Okay, and to give it a bit of a clean, I just wipe it off with my fingers. I'm just pulling that 4B up slightly. Now it takes a bit of time to get to use a colour shaper. You find that if you try and go in all sorts of different directions, you end up with these kind of funny marks. So just give it good practice and play doing tornadoes, spheres, etc. before you try and have a go at doing something perfect. Drawing a nose is one of the best things to try and practice using a colour shaper. I'm taking it off all the times and giving it a good clean. I don't want to blend it too far. I'm going to use the point here because I don't want to get rid of that line. Okay, and again there. Just a tiny bit, using the point of it just to soften that shading. get rid of the line. As you can see, that did happen with the blending stump. We don't want that. We want to define the line, and that is where the colour shaper comes in. And on this side, you see those marks there. We want to make sure that we get rid of them. So just give it a good clean. Smooth it out. Okay, and the right side. Okay, and last but not least, this vertical line, and I'm going to break that up ever so slightly and bring that down. Now use a hard mechanical rubber just to add in any kind of sharp lines to exaggerate the nostrils, to bring them forwards and to take the nostrils back. And have a little look where you need to soften or lighten areas. Use a very light pressure just to soften again. An extra line up here, and it's finished. Thank you very much for listening.